Welcome back to the NFL NBA Rectable. That's Kevin Dana, and I'm Alan Wu. This is our NFL edition. We're going to be going over a couple big moves as the season gets ready to start. First of all, the Denver Broncos traded away cornerback Dominique Foxworth to the Atlanta Falcons for a conditional 7th-round draft choice. What that means is that depending on Foxworth's performance with the Falcons, that draft pick can move up in certain rounds. The other big move is the Detroit Lions signing running back Rudy Johnson. This is after Rudy Johnson was released by the Cincinnati Bengals as they cut down to their 53-man roster. And in exchange, the Detroit Lions cut running back Tatum Bell in order to make room for Rudy Johnson. Tatum Bell, of course, had been their starting running back, but then lost the job to rookie Kevin Smith. Okay, so Kevin, first of all, with this Denver Broncos trade, who do you think wins with this Foxworth trade?
Well, I really think both teams win. Let's take a look at what the Falcons gave up in exchange for Foxworth. A conditional 7th-round pick, like you mentioned, Alan, that could go up, who knows how far. So it's really a win-win situation. If Foxworth performs very well for the Falcons, the Broncos are going to get a higher draft pick. And the Broncos really didn't need Foxworth. He was a nickel cornerback for them, and he was behind Dre Bly and Champ Bailey. Really wasn't going to move up anytime soon for Denver, and he comes into Atlanta and is immediately the most experienced cornerback behind Chris Houston and Brent Grimes. And that was really the one area on their defense that they didn't have any experience. When you take a look at their defensive line, they have John Abraham. Their linebacking group, they have Keith Brooking. You take a look at their safeties, they have Lawyer Malloy. Cornerback was a position that was totally inexperienced with the loss of D'Angelo Hall, and now they bring in someone who is a 4-year vet and should add a lot of experience to that group.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see the fact that he finally gets a shot to really be able to play some, because he's, like we mentioned, behind Champ Bailey and Dre Bly. There's no way you're going to beat out one of those two, one of the best cornerback tandems in the league. And so there was really no place for him on the Broncos, much too talented to just stay there as the nickel cornerback. So it's a smart move by them to get something in return. Like we mentioned, my guess is this draft pick, depending on how he does, could probably move up to like a 4th rounder or something like that. And the Falcons, on the other hand, giving up a 4th-round pick for an established player in Foxworth who's played well. It's just the fact that he's behind two of the best cornerbacks in the league. It's not like he's a scrub that was stuck there and couldn't win a starting job. So this is a good move for both teams. I like it. As you mentioned, losing D'Angelo Hall, as talented as he was, wasn't happy in Atlanta and sort of just ran himself out of there. But he's over with the Raiders now. But the Falcons now addressing that situation and getting some help in that secondary. So they're on the rebuilding path, but it looks like they're taking another positive step towards rebuilding that franchise. And so moving on to another team that isn't rebuilding at all, the Detroit Lions, signing Rudy Johnson. Do you think he's the answer at running back for them?
I think he is. You have the rookie running back with Kevin Smith, who had won the starting job from Tatum Bell coming out of Central Florida, and they needed an experienced running back, and Rudy Johnson is definitely that guy. You can't really look at his 2007 stats based on all kinds of team turmoil that went on there in Cincinnati, and he also was banged up a little bit. He only played in 11-12 games last year, so his per carry average was down a little bit. But if you go back a couple, 2-3 seasons ago, this is a guy who can give you 1,400 yards if you give him the carries. And they are totally stacked on offense. It's really going to come down to how many offenses their defense can stop.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at him. He had 3 seasons in a row with the Bengals where it was 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns every year. That's great consistency for a starting running back. And especially now that Mike Martz is out, there might be some questions with the new coordinator, but I think that there are too many weapons on this Detroit Lions offense to not be good. There is no reason that they cannot put up 28, 30-some points every single game. But like you mentioned, the problem is that defense might be giving up that same amount of points. And outscoring your opponents is not the way to win in the NFL. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts, they had a great offense so many years. It wasn't until that defense finally came around that they broke through and got that Super Bowl 2 years ago. So, the Detroit Lions need to shore up that defense. But it looks like they are just really stacked on offense to make a serious run. That offense might be enough to get them a playoff contention in that AFC this year, or NFC, excuse me. But in the NFC, just about everyone is a contender, so they'll be in the mix. But that defense is going to determine how far they go. All right, that's it for our NFL edition. Tune in next time.